in the chat this season is going to be in our credits tonight. So it's over 120
Nice.
people. Yeah, so pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll this thing. Okay, Wayne says he's going to be here, so we'll see. All right,
Yeah,
here we
well,
go.
great googly moogly. We can't do a show. Derek Carr is eating jambalaya, and it's me and you. Come on, man.
Hey, we
We
can do
gotta
it.
have the Wainster here, man. Violator needs you, brother.
Oh, man, let's roll this show.
Roll it.
It's game day, baby! Let's go!
Welcome, everyone, to NFL Nation Live. This is our Week 23 show, our Super Bowl preview show, last of our 2022 season. So glad that you're all joining us. We'll open up the chat here in just a minute. Violator's on his way, probably late getting back from his little Apple production. We'll talk about that when he gets here. But there's news to talk about in addition to before we get to our Super Bowl picks. So that being said, with Wayne not here, Cap, what are your quick first thoughts, my friend?
Well, I mean, it's been said again and again. You know, for Raider Nation, this is one of those games that, the only way it would have been worse as a Raider fan compendium is if the Niners would have been here against the Chiefs. And again, I'm not a California Raiders fan, so I don't have to deal with a lot of that Niner Raider stuff. I just know I had a belly full of it when I was out in Vegas, and now I understand why.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, why they are as I don't say as hated as they are, but you got the Kansas City Chiefs, who was in their third Super Bowl in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that the last time an AFC West team was the number one offense playing the number one defense in the NFL, it might be others, but I know one in particular, and it was Super Bowl 37.
Yep. Yeah, there's been a couple others, but that was definitely one. That didn't turn out so well for the number one offense.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping.
There were some issues with that, though.
Number one defense
Hey,
shows up and destroys.
Yep. Hey, Kev. Yep. All right. We'll get to all that and open up the chats as we get back. Hang in there. All right, everyone. Welcome to NFL Nation Live, our Week 23 show. We've got some business to discuss. It's also our Super Bowl preview show. It's also our last broadcast for the 2022 season. We will be back next season, I think. If everybody wants us back, we're going to open up the chat here in a little bit. So a couple of news items from last week. Welcome, V, by the way. We'll get to stuff going on with you here in just a second. A little business before we get started. If anybody sees Desert Raider, Raiders 07, or Gabe out there, we need some information from you guys. Everybody else who won something in last week's trivia should be getting their items. Again, Ed and Hollywood Raider had custom mugs. Those have been printed up and shipped. So you'll get those shortly, but everybody else should have most of their stuff. So in any case, Wayne, how are you?
Doing fairly well, guys. Just running like a madman, but life is good, man.
So you had a little happenings this week. Tell us a little about what was going on with your schedule. You've been blowing up the internet, man.
Yeah, well, I hope so. What they did, Apple Music launched the video that we're doing for the Super Bowl halftime. With Rihanna, and so that's out there, and we'll just get the feedback. I know right now it's over 3 million views now, so it's people are checking it out.
Yeah, Wayne is a celebrity, Ed. You're right on that front. So tell us a little bit.
Wayne, not to hate on you, But if anybody's going to do a video with Riri that can dance, even the old white, come on, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
Get
well,
hook a
like I say,
brother up with Riri.
I'll put in a good word, man.
Come on, man.
So
I'm gonna
tell
sound like Chris Carter the entire show.
yeah.
Oh
So
my
if you don't know what we're talking about, then maybe you've been on vacation. But Wayne was part of a video. It's out all over the internet. You can certainly find it on Twitter if you're following his account, my account, or NFL Nation Live account. Raiders of 7. I got my prize today. Also, if I did have a question, there was an order from the package. That is how I order autograph book the walk. Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. So Raiders of 7, you got your Violator T-shirt. Is that what I'm hearing? Because that's good if you did. But Wayne, he's also asking how he can order an autograph book, one of your books, autograph.
Just go to the website moto-sports.com.
We'll show you the moto-sports.com URL when we do our 30-second commercial break. There's also if you have your phone ready, you can also scan the barcode in our commercial break. It will take you to his website. I can also put it into the chat. So Wayne, tell us a little bit about how this video came about, how you got contacted, and can you spill where you filmed it?
Some of that I can answer right now. I was contacted by a casting agency that was looking for, I guess, authentic fans, real fans, or whatever.
Hey, James.
And so upon sending in my email back to them, I was contacted by the director. Heavy
Hey,
British
Justin.
accent and all that stuff. So during the interview, I didn't expect this, but she asked me to just sing her a couple of bars, and I'm like, well, and at that time I had a sinus infection, so I was like, man, I've got major frog here.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just took one for the team, belted some stuff out to her. She's like, okay. I guess wanted to see range or whatever it was. But so anyway, they set up the dress rehearsal date where everybody came in. They took photos. It felt like we were being put in jail. We took mug shots, head to toe. But I think all of this stuff was for advertisement or just their general file. But that first day was just all dress rehearsal, getting to know everybody, getting everybody's paperwork done. The second day was the actual shoot day. And I knew the severity of it or the importance of it when they took all our cell phones.
What?
Wow. And I asked the guard, he says, this is nothing's going to be leaked out about this. And those that had their phones were being watched. So I'm like, okay. So we went in and we all had to memorize a song basically in a couple of days. And I'd never heard Rihanna's song before. Now that I hear it, I can't get it out of my head. But
right, exactly. So all right, and then so what we've seen so far, to the extent of everything, or was that just a promo to something that's coming?
I think that's the promo to something that's coming.
Okay.
As far as we know, she wasn't actually on set, but she had her people there. So once they edited it like they did and they were happy with it, they couldn't wait to release it. So I'm curious to see. We don't even know what they're launching, but she's a big part of it. So for us as fans to be chosen to do this, first of all, it's as far as my knowledge, groundbreaking material, or one of those doors that isn't always open. So who knows where this could go? So
if you go to the Grammys, I want to go.
I've been dying to go to that, man.
I'm just saying, if you go to the Grammys and I'm not on your security detail, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Look, put a list of entourage down.
Yeah. So Pat says I have a pick with Violator. Next goal is to get one with you, Cap.
I tell you what, there, sweetheart, Katrina, we will do that when I see you, honey. We will do that when I see you.
Sounds good.
My pleasure, Pat.
Yeah. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. So, can you tell us when this took place?
This took place right now. It was probably a month ago.
Wow, so you've been sitting on this for a month?
We that's part of the agreement. We can't say anything.
You little
Which is
Stark,
why
you.
I keep telling you guys when I keep my phone locked up during the day because of the security. And, there's reasons why. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
granted, mine is for government purposes, but now you get a little bit of what I deal with every day.
Every day, right?
Yeah,
We couldn't say a word. wasn't supposed to post anything,
yeah.
because everybody was asking. I think a few of the participants in the excitement put up something.
Can,
I didn't post
can,
anything, and it
can
kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. First of all, congratulations. The second part of it, second part of my question is, I understand if you can't disclose the exact location, can you tell us anything about it? What state?
It was here in Cali. It was in
Okay,
the valley. That's
okay.
about as close proximity. It
So,
was in the valley.
and that's fine. That's totally cool. So my next question was, so all the folks are in the video. Were you all in the same location, or do you think they were doing these in a bunch of different locations and then just edited everybody together?
No, no, no. Same location. Same
Oh wow, they
location.
got all those
Yeah.
people in one
Yeah. Oh,
spot,
it
huh?
was it was quite the reunion, man. I
You
met
think?
cats that I had known for years or had known me, and we finally got to meet. Oh, it was something else, man.
So did you get to meet folks you hadn't met before?
Quite a few,
Yeah.
quite a few.
So of the
Yes.
people, so Ed is asking, did you get to mention that you know my brother?
No,
His
no. Did
his
you mention that you know me,
No, me. Yeah,
comma,
yeah.
brother?
No, me, brother.
Oh. Okay. I assumed he had a brother that you knew, but
No,
okay,
no. He's talking about him. Hey,
I
man.
understand. So all right, so you got to meet. So of the folks that you met in this thing, which were the obviously in large part, I know there's a lot of folks going there. Hey Anna, there's a lot of folks involved in this thing, but of the fans piece of folks that you met, who did you walk away going? That cat's pretty cool. Anybody in particular stand out?
Oh, let me see. Let me start off with. Of course, I'd known Nasty for years. It was just like family reunion. Uh, Leroy, which is known, he's known as Whistle Thunder. Great
Oh
cat.
yeah, was he the Saints?
He's the Saints. Yeah, he's a
Uh huh.
whistle, and great guy, man. We had some great conversations. Bird Lady, had never met her in person. What a gem, man.
Hmm.
Had some great talks with her. Let me see who else is well known. Oh, Banjo Man from the Niners.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yes, yes. So we were talking about the old history, and you
Yeah.
know, so me and him are on the same wavelength, man. It's just but those were some guys that really stood out to me that I had never met in person. A lot of the other ones weren't as familiar to all of us, but
Hmm.
they're up and coming. They've been doing their work.
Hmm.
And hats off to Captain Offense for the Ravens. Another great dude. Another
Okay.
great dude.
And then
Actually,
it.
I think it's Captain Defense there, boss.
Was it Captain Defense?
Yeah.
Well, he's
Yeah,
a
as soon as
cool
you
cat.
said Ravens and Captain, just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I think I've acknowledged everybody that's come in. Ryan, welcome to the show. Anna, welcome. Ed, Kev's here. Um, so,
And
all right.
he's good
So,
people, by the way. He's
y-
great people.
yeah, no, I don't doubt that at all. Thanks for being here, by the way. So Wayne. So, um, it's what do you think the percentage somewhere between 90 and 100 probably that everybody knew who you were?
99.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
99.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, cool.
That was
So
quite the reception when I came in fully garbed up with my
yeah,
sword. So that was
yeah,
quite the reception.
that's awesome. Well, congratulations for that. I think it's pretty cool that not only that you get those opportunities, like Cap said, but that your stardom still is such that you're humble enough to come on this show on Wednesday and
Oh,
tell
come
us all
on.
about it.
Come
So
on.
thank
This
you
is the
for that.
locker room, man. Come on. Are you kidding? This is the locker
Yeah.
room, man.
Well, yeah.
But like I say,
Um,
those opportunities like that for a fan, and this is the conversations we had amongst each other. just to be selected out of the thousands or hundreds of thousands of fans that's out there to represent all those 32 teams. It was quite the feat. And I told them this is an epic moment. Somebody's thinking outside of the box, which we found out the director was, and maybe somebody from Apple is thinking outside of the box and doing something a little bit different than all the other corporations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Lee, welcome to the show.
What's up, bro?
So
I know that, dude.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. So we were talking about Wayne's recent video that was put out as either a teaser and all that sort of stuff. If you haven't seen it on the internet, you need to go see it. Raiders 07 has a question about how rigged is the Super Bowl. We'll get to that in just a second. But because we'll get to all things Super Bowl here in just a minute. But Wayne, with regards to this particular piece, I have two additional follow-up questions. The first one is, I agree with you that Apple's doing something here. Where do you think this goes with regards to what they're doing and how this is manifesting itself through what they're trying to do?
My gut tells me that it's kind of like a fusion of entertainment and sports, but with the backdrop of, what do you call it, recognizable fans. That's got to be something to it, man. I can't wait to really get it from the horse's mouth, the whole concept.
So that was another piece of the question that I had is here. Do you think you've got your claws into some of the folks that are behind some of this? And I'll tell you where I'm going with that here in just a second. Based on the people that you met, either from the production crews or Apple in particular, do you think you're
definitely from the director herself? She was impressed with how professional I was, and the whole blah blah blah. But you get what you get. When I'm clocked in, it was just like going to a game, but I didn't have to. I won't say I didn't have to yell, but I didn't have to exert all of that energy like at a game. So same intensity was there. You know me, I talk to everybody down to the people cooking on the food truck. So, you plant that seed when you get the opportunity.
No, I agree. And I'm sure that you did. So, contact information. Do you think any of those folks that you did your program with from the fans, the elite fans piece, would come onto this show and chat with us? Either in or out of battle gear, whichever their preference is.
That's awesome, man. I think they would love the opportunity to talk about it.
Okay. If you put something out there, we could come back with another show. My suggestion would be that we format it around the draft because they'll have a lot to talk about, I suspect.
Exactly. On both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that if you have the ability to reach out to some of those folks you met and say, by the way, I have a live stream, and would you be interested in coming on the live stream and chatting with us on the live stream with regards to stuff going on with the draft? So that gives us a little bit of time to put it on their schedule and tell them they're welcome to come as they regularly are, but for some folks who want to preserve their either identity or whatever it is, they're welcome to come in battle gear as well. They need to know it's not a paid gig.
I'll make all that known.
Unless somebody's winning the lottery between here and there. We'd love to be able to pay them. Unfortunately, we can't. But if they're willing to do that on their own time, we maybe could put together a draft special show. It'd be kind of cool to meet with them. And we could do several at a time. Or we could do, a couple or 3 shows around the draft time if everybody's willing, and just see what their schedule is. I mean, because some of them may be going to the draft, right?
Absolutely. I think a few of them were from
from that standpoint, they're not going to be able to actually be available during those days prior. So we'd have to do it a week or so before, or maybe even a month before. Depending. So if there's a few of them that you think might be interested, maybe reach out and then let me know what you find out.
Yeah, I'll do it like in a group text to everybody.
Yeah. Ed says years ago I worked with Apple on their marketing and advertising with Steve Jobs as running the company. Wow, that's actually
Oh, right
pretty
on,
cool,
Ed.
Ed.
Good
Yeah,
stuff,
good
man.
for you, man. That's awesome. Hope they paid you in some stock. Violator, it showed you on the 30 for 30 Bullies of Baltimore the other night when it got to the part Brian Billick started talking about Baltimore heading to the black hole at 2000 AFC Championship. Did you see that?
No, I didn't, but yeah, I remember that. That was a lot of chatter back and forth then.
The Twitter piece that I heard today was that Al wanted to sign Tony Saragusa and then lowered the the amount he was going to pay him. And then I guess Saragusa obviously got us back when he flattened
Yeah, when he
Gannon in the
when he
championship
busted
game.
Gannon, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We would have beaten the Giants, by the way.
yeah.
I
That was
mean,
that was a
I tell you, the other thing on that was, and interject, when I was down in Gitmo, Billick came down for a radio show, and because I was doing the sports for the on Gitmo there. Actually, I got over there. It's a signed Brian Billick football,
hmm,
and I was talking to him. I said, you know, if Tony Serafazzo had not glomped on Gannon, okay, and if Alphonse and Gaston hadn't ran into each other on the Shannon Sharp touchdown, because they only had one touchdown.
that's right.
yeah.
It was when Dorsett and Marquez Pope ran into each other,
Yep.
and they got that one touchdown on that one play.
To Shannon Sharp.
Serafazzo, and
Yep.
again, may he rest in peace, Tony Siragusa,
Yeah.
belly flopped on Gannon. We would have
Yep.
won that game. He goes, no, 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 no. We had that game down. He was
No,
not
you didn't.
any of it. Being
Yeah.
Brian Billick, No, no, no. We had you guys to dead. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever.
Hey,
What am
Cap,
I playing football?
and you remember we had played him before. Remember how physical and how
Oh
chirpy
yeah.
that game was?
Absolutely.
So this was
Yep.
almost like a rematch.
Yep.
So we were pretty much set for him, except for, like you
Yep.
say, that one play that let Sharp run
Yep.
right down the middle of the field.
Yep.
We had him. We shut him
Yep.
down.
Yeah, and we had the game at home and all that sort of stuff. But
Oh yeah, place was jumping.
assuming we would have healed up for the Super Bowl, we would have beaten the Giants. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Bugs, welcome to the show.
What's up, Bugsy?
Um, I don't believe that we had a solid D line at the time. We shouldn't have blitzed on the play. If we play zone there, Sharp doesn't take that to the house. Can't argue that.
No, I can't either, man.
It's
I can't.
I have. It's been a long time since I've seen that game.
No, I was sitting. I
But
watched the play happen, and it was just like, oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah, you were there
Remember,
for that one.
who was it? Who was it? The safety Dorsey,
Well, it was Anthony Dorsett and
Anthony
Marquez Pope.
Dorset,
They're the guys that
right?
ran into each other.
Ran into each other, and Sharp looked like, wow, dude, gone. He was grinning all what
Yeah,
half the way there, man.
yeah, yeah.
Terrible,
right.
terrible.
All right. So in any case, I think we pretty well beat the Apple thing to death, but at least at the moment. But again, congratulations for the opportunity to participate in that.
Oh yeah,
Kudos to you for keeping it secret for all this time. That's
yeah,
pretty cool as well. But hopefully more will come from that. And who knows what opportunities will present themselves as a result of you getting that opportunity and meeting all those folks and
yeah.
all
I don't
that.
think it was an accident at all, really.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Someday you'll get too big for this show. That's for sure.
We'll just
Thank
be able to.
y'all.
We'll be able to then take the show on the road.
I'm game for that. I'm not sure I'm not sure what I bring to the table, but in any case, Hollywood Raider. Thanks y'all for my Tumblr. Got it. Okay, cool. All right. Ed should be getting his as well. I know they shipped out. They're referring to stuff that they won last week in our fan appreciation show. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. If you're looking for Wayne stuff, that's coming up in the break. You can get the information from his store. If you have your phone ready, get your camera ready. You can buy his stuff, including his book there. But our commercial break has a code you can scan there. We'll be right back and we'll chat Super Bowl and Raiders 07. I haven't forgotten your question about Super Bowl being rigged. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone, to NFL Nation Live, our final show for this season, the 2022 season. I'm going to open the chat back up here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Super Bowl 57 coming up on Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs going to play the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona. A lot of questions about this one, up and down. Let's start from the very beginning. Is the Super Bowl going to be rigged? Probably not. There's too much at stake for the NFL to screw this up from that standpoint. But I guess we'll believe it if and when we see it. Hard for me to believe that they do it in the Super Bowl. Pretty good crew. I believe in the crew that's coming in this game. I just don't see it. And as you know from this show, we talk a lot about the officiating and the stuff about that, what happened in the championship game and all that. But I just can't see it at this point. I'm not saying that will never happen, but
No.
at the moment they're managing to walk the walk and toe the line a little bit. How's Mahomes going to throw in his plastic bubble? That's a really good question. I think a lot has to do, and let's get to it, guys. Let's start with the Kansas City Chiefs on offense. That's a good lead in from Raiders 07. With regards to that, in my opinion, the Chiefs really don't have that good of a running game. Anything that the Eagles should be afraid of, so to speak. It's not like they have a Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry, anything like that. They got some guys banged up. We know that Mahomes isn't 100%, although he's gonna do whatever it takes to play through whatever he's got. Kelty's got nagging injuries. I think most of the players will tell you at this time of the season, everybody's got nicks and dinged up for something. But I'm concerned about that Kansas City Chief offense. This is a team that led the NFL in scoring with 469 some 79 whatever points, just under 500 points this year. I think they struggle a little bit, and I think the key for Philadelphia is to play the game that they know how to play, that they've been playing all year. But I think they can learn a lot from that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay with regards to how to handle the offensive weapons such as they are for the Kansas City Chiefs, and a team that is minus one weapon that was with them at that time, and that's Tyreek Hill.
I think they're offensively for the Chiefs. I think their passing game, and when I say that, their bubble screens and their short passing game is going to be their running game.
Yeah,
like I
good
say,
point.
they have a decent running back there. Two of them, matter of fact. I don't think they have any major nagging injuries, but the thing is, Philadelphia doesn't really have to blitz with that front line that they have. These guys can just dominate, man. So if they can get after Mahomes, and scrambling is going to be an issue. So if they get
Yep.
it moving,
Yep.
I think they pretty much can shut them down. For the most part, they will score, but I think they can give them all they want.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And Matt's in there too, saying the Eagles have the number one passing defense. I think their defense in general is pretty good, but to have the number one passing defense says a lot. Even though I don't have any stats to prove it, it feels like the AFC throws the ball more, maybe than the NFC, with regards to just the teams in general, or maybe they throw it more effectively. I mean, when you've got Joe Burrow, and you've got Josh Allen, you got Mahomes, and for what it's worth, Derek Carr and Herbert
Justin
and
Herbert,
those
yeah.
guys. Yeah, I mean, we're throwing the ball, and we're throwing it pretty effectively. Washington doesn't throw the ball that well. You could argue Minnesota doesn't either. The Bears certainly didn't. The Packers probably shine through as the number one team with regards to any passing scheme, if you will. But I just think that I think the Eagles will see some things that they haven't seen because the Chiefs play in AFC, but it
Yeah.
may not take them long to adjust to that. And that defense and particularly the Eagles' offensive line, I think is going to create some problems. I'm not a believer in that Chiefs defense at all. So if the Eagles play their game, I think they got a pretty good chance of this thing. Cap, you're kind of a Philadelphia cheesesteak kind of guy. What's your take on this game?
Well, first off, no friggin' cheese whiz. That is just the nastiest stuff
Right.
in the world. It's watered cheese product. If you're gonna have a Philly cheesesteak, provolone, baby, and lots of it. Get your Amoroso roll. I don't do onions because I'm allergic to them, but you throw all of those mushrooms and peppers, Amoroso roll, provolone cheese, and I like some pepperonis and some marinara in there, kind of like a Philly pizza cheesesteak, that is a Captain cheesesteak. If I go anywhere and you offer that, make sure it's on the Amoroso, and I will
So
eat it, baby, because
okay.
that just I sound a little bit sound like Dick Vitale. Yeah, baby, I eat
I,
it, Billy cheesesteak,
yeah,
baby.
Yes, so hold the food thought for a second, 'cause I want to get to Ryan's comment before it leaves the chat. It says, giving Andy Reid this much time to game plan for the Eagles defense, I believe KC will have a lot up their sleeve. I don't disagree with that. The question is, can they execute it?
Right.
And I don't know if they can. Anna says that the sportsbook have the Eagles at 2 points now instead of 1.5.
Got
And
one
quite
and a half.
frankly, I'm surprised it's not higher than that. But
Now, I think it's,
I'm not a bookie.
yeah, I know, but
At
I
least
think it's
not
going to
as far as
be,
anybody knows.
I think the physicality is going to make the difference in this game. Everybody's thinking about all the gets and gadgets and,
Yeah.
backyard football
Yeah.
kind of stuff that we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
I think the physical nature of it is going to be the edge.
Well, and that's a really good point, and that bridges us over to a point that Cap was making in the pregame show. Is that I'm sure it's happened more than once, but Super Bowl 37, Raiders Bucks was the number one offense against the number one defense. There's a lot of reasons why that didn't go well for us. But I think it's happened before. Usually, they say offense wins game, defense wins championships. So if you're going to lean that way, you got to lean towards the Eagles. Now, there's a lot of issues with regards to Super Bowl 37 and the storylines there. We don't need to rehash that craziness.
Yeah,
But the point was number one offense against number one defense. I like the Eagles on that.
and I tell you, when you have an Eagles defense that is so stacked along the defensive line that just is,
Yeah.
they throw bodies at you. If you remember the last time that the Eagles were in a Super Bowl, and it was only 5-6 years ago, when they beat Brady, they beat Brady because they kept throwing bodies at him. They kept throwing bodies at him, and they just basically suffocated the ability of a high-powered Patriots offense to win. And
They
Brady
did the same
made
thing the
mistakes.
Giants did. Yeah.
Yeah, Brady made mistakes, and that's how the Eagles won. They had all of these little guys that came in with the Eagles now, you got a Robert Quinn and an Ndamukong Suh that are afterthoughts on a defensive line
That's right.
that just has the big guys like Hargrove or Hargraves and other people.
Yeah.
We just got too much beef to go after Mahomes. Now, KC's line is decent, but if you got these guys that are rotating and keep coming at you, okay, and they got great secondary. I said they're the number one pass defense because they have a decent secondary and they got the line that keep coming at you. And those offensive guys are going to be out there the whole game. The defensive guys, they're going to be switched out. You don't switch out a lot on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And when you look at the fact that the Kansas City is missing components on that offense. Well, you already mentioned that Tyreek Hill is not there because he's in Miami, right? Mecole Hardman is out. Smith-Schuster was injured, and Tony was injured. I think they said they might get Tony back, but the point is that Tony will probably go out on the field and twist his ankle walking on and stepping on a crack and breaking his mother's back and his back because he's just that injury prone. So Edwards-Helaire is coming back for the quote unquote run game, but he's been non-injured for the last couple of weeks. So they put him in there because they put Hardman on the IR and they needed a body. So they said, okay, we'll sign him back. But he's been okay the last couple of weeks, and they thought enough of him to not put him in there.
Yeah,
I think like Violator was saying, bubble screens, that short passing game, a lot of that inside pitch that Mahomes likes to do to Kelsey and the running backs or somebody that's running across in that the quick toss pass. That's the running game. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're going to use that, but I think that the Eagles defense, and again, yes, I know this is biased because I can't stand that damn team from Kansas City, but looking at it objectively, the Eagles have the best defense for a reason. Yeah. And I hope that they do the things that Tampa Bay's defense did to Mahomes and the Chiefs a couple years ago. They
I
made
wouldn't
up
see why
for it
they
by
wouldn't.
getting offensive players, but I still think that they have the horses on defense to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and Matt's in there. He says Philly's defensive line is no joke. He's absolutely right about that. And you can say this much for the offensive line as well. Cool.
Yeah.
Kev says it could go either way by a field goal based on the spread. I agree with that. There's no question there. I don't think it'll be that close. But that said, who's got the better special teams here?
Ooh, wow. That's a good one. That's a
I
good
think
one, Rev.
I think it's flat out even. I
I
think it's
think I would
absolutely
call it
flat
even.
out.
Yeah, I would call it even special teams. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then yeah, maybe on paper or from the book standpoint, it is a 2-point ball game. I think it's Eagles by much more than that. I'm not going to bet my house on it, but I just don't think you can talk about and look. I don't want to disregard the comment about Andy Reid having time to beat somebody, and there's
Right.
a storyline there because he coached in Philadelphia, right? He took them to the Super Bowl. They lost that one, so there's a little bit of a or maybe some sort of chip that they'll never admit
Yes, sir.
is on his shoulder. I just don't know. Players have to execute game plans. I just don't know if the Chiefs are going to be able to do that on offense. I think if the Eagles take Kelsey away, and the Chiefs will assume that they will, I don't know what else they've got from that statement. I'm not saying they're going to get shut out, not score any points, blah, blah, blah. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is 31-24, 27-24, 27-21, something like that.
Well, Madden already played it, and Madden had the Eagles winning. I think it was 31-17.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I
Oh,
think it's going to be 31. I don't
lot
know if the
closer
Chiefs
than
will get
that.
24 points. I don't know if they'll get 24 points. I think they can get 17 or 21. I just don't know if they're going to get more than 21, and they're going to need 35 to win this, and I don't think they're going to do it.
Probably.
Ryan says, I live in Maryland and work up
That
in
was-
Delaware, so all the people I work with are Eagles fans. Good for them. They have been talking a lot of trash all week and think they can blow Kansas City out. Well, that's really good thinking. The problem with me buying into the Eagles blowing the Chiefs out is that despite the fact that we like the Eagles over Kansas City for the reasons that we said, there's two things that are wild card factors here. The experience that this Chiefs team has with double-digit players that have been with Super Bowl experience, a head coach that knows what he's doing, and a quarterback that can execute it blindfolded against a team who is pretty full of themselves. And, you know, when you go into the Super Bowl a little bit overconfident, that can hurt you. So there's some intangibles here that I think we have to be careful of. I can understand why Eagles fans think that they could blow out the Chiefs. I'm not saying they won't, but I don't think they will. And I think they don't for the reasons we just said. Mahomes is still a wild card. Even a dinged up Mahomes is a pretty dangerous one. And we saw what Henne can do. I mean, if Holmes goes down, Henne knows how to execute that offense.
Yeah.
What if the Eagles have to or haven't game plan for both quarterbacks? You know, we saw Oliver Luck come in for Houston and beat the Chargers years ago when no one knew how to plan for that backup quarterback. So it happens. And in the spectrum of a Super Bowl where turnovers, clock management, field position can play a factor, those are all things that could get the Eagles beat. So we'll see how well Kansas City manages all of those things. Ed says 31-27.
31-27. Matt is 27-17.
Yeah. I don't know if Kansas City can get 27, but I like that. That's pretty close. 31-27, 31-24, 34-24, something like that.
I'll take a 1-point win.
Well, yes, we all would.
Yes.
For the guys and girls.
I totally
All
get
it
you that.
matters. Just win, baby. That's it.
No, I get it. I understand why everybody wants the Chiefs to go down.
But I would love to see a blowout with the guys in green being on the positive end of a blowout. Because I tell you what, that we would be able to, or at least I would be able to go into the Wild Wild West show and giggle my goony goo goo ass off and do the Carlton dance for the Smug family. And by the way, Gabe, please send your address information to Coach so he can send out the prizes that you won last week. But while I'm thinking of it, Gabe, send in your address information and whatever you won, which I had it here, Coach. I'm sorry, Ref. Gabe won the Moto Sports Cap. Okay,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's got a size on it, but we need to know your address, Gabe, so you can get your Moto Sports Cap.
And the size cap. Hey, Cap, the size too.
So, okay, so we need to know what size cap you wear.
Small, medium, or large and extra large. Those are the two sizes.
All right. So
go ahead and put the email there, Ref. There you. Thank you.
So I know we're sideways a little bit on this, but it's important because we got to cover some from last week's show. So Gabe, Wayne, he won a motosports.com hat.
Yeah.
So we'll get the size for that. He also won one of your books. He ordered a copy. He won a copy of The Walk, an autographed copy of The Walk, but he said to make it out to Matt, if I have that correct.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I haven't put that in the email. So
yeah. So Gabe, if you still want that,
put that in the email, Gabe.
So Gabe, you won 2 prizes last week. You won the moto.sports.com hat. So send us the size.
Nope.
So what's up, Cap?
Raiders 07 won the Violator autograph book, and his name is Matt.
Gotcha. Okay, my mistake.
Okay. Gotcha.
My mistake. So
Gabe just won the Moto Sports Cap. Sorry, Gabe.
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah. We just was missing some addresses. So
yeah. But right. you got Raiders 07's address because he already got the whatever else it was that he won because he said he got it and there was a thing inside. So
is that okay? I understand. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. So what is last name Gallegos?
Yeah, I believe so.
Gallegos.
Okay.
Gallegos.
So then that so we did get that one. So Wayne, autograph book made out to Matt. Needs to go out to him too. And you should have it at his address. So Desert Raiders the only other one we're looking for if he shows up tonight. But yeah, Gabe. So if you send us that, we'll get at the moto-sport.com hat out to you as soon as we know the size. That should take care of everybody that should have gotten what they should have gotten.
And Ed got his beanie, folks. So don't say that I didn't shirk. I gave Ed the Captain Jack beanie.
Yeah, you didn't get to see that, Cap, but it was pretty cool. Cap had these beanies with this patch on it. It was cool, man.
Hand knitted.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, it's a nice, pretty nice item. All right. So Matt says, Ryan, I'm in Maryland near the Delaware border. Actually starting to warm up around. Okay, cool.
Around 60.
All right. Well, it's getting warm on the East Coast. That's good. All right. What else about the Super Bowl do we need to cover? Annie Agar put out her video last week with she did one for the AFC, one for the NFC. Yours truly got into the one for the AFC. So I had a little bit of a snippet in that one.
Awesome.
Was whatever. When she said she wanted
a lot of airtime, man, that's awesome.
When she said she wanted us to send in videos, I thought she was asking us to send something as like an audition, not an actual clip that would fit the format of her show. So I sent her about a 1-minute video with a couple of different things in it so she could check it out, not knowing that she wanted to actually use the clip we were sending. Had I known we were supposed to send the actual piece that she would use, I would have formatted my clip that I sent to her differently. That said, she still managed to get one piece of it, and that's okay. It wasn't what I would have sent had I known what the rules were, but I screwed it up. So that one's on me. Next time I'll know. But anyway.
Ryan says, is Hardman and Tony not playing?
Hardman is out. Tony, I think, is back, but like I said, he's gonna trip on a crack, and he's gonna break his mother's back and his own back, probably, by the Super Bowl. And what is the record for the Chiefs wearing their whites there, Ref?
0-1.
Thank
0-1.
you.
Wow.
Yep. They lost Super Bowl 1 to the Packers. They won Super Bowl 4, but that was in red. The Vikings were in white. Then they won Super Bowl 54, so they were in red. But they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the following season. Well, they beat the 49ers, right? They were wearing red. They lost to Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay was wearing white, which was unusual for the
humidity.
Well, it was usually humidity. The NFC.
Wayne knows about that game. He was there, baby.
Humidity.
Yeah. So the Buccaneers wore white, which technically is unusual. They were the home team, so they could choose. But typically, the NFC is odd years and AFC is even years. They swap back and forth with who's supposed to be, quote, the home team. So even years would be AFC wearing home and odd years would be NFC wearing home. But like you said, they wore white, so the Chiefs had to wear red. So in a year when the Chiefs would have lost another one in white, they lost it in red. So they're 2-1 in red and 0-1 in white after all that. Okay. Goodell said it. This is Ed saying Goodell stated that the officiating is currently better than ever, and he's so full of. Yes, he is. He's absolutely. He's actually more than full of it. And the problem is they don't even know what's wrong with it. They think it's awesome, and they're just tone deaf to the whole thing. Absolutely nuts that they think it's even remarkably decent, because it's not. And they brag about it.
Or either a blind eye, Ref. Tone deaf and a blind eye, or two, right?
Yeah.
But they're never going to admit anything.
No, they're not.
No.
Nope. So yeah, the groundhog was wrong. He was supposed to have 6 more weeks of winter, right? So when we make it next year in Vegas, we'll be in black. That's technically correct. Yeah, because it'd be Super Bowl 58.
Let's see who we got a quarterback first, Ryan.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah. Well, maybe Aaron Rodgers going into total darkness for 4 days is a clue that he likes black. I don't know.
I heard that earlier, and I thought the same thing. Oh, he's going into a black hole to see if he can take it for 4 days. Good one, Ref. Yeah.
If he can take the black hole for 4 days, he's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna shoot the groundhog. Maybe let him loose.
Yeah, he's been held up too long. Let him go out there.
Yeah, go around, run around,
sow
have some fun.
Oats.
That's pretty good for a quadruped. If you guys know what I'm talking about.
No, but it sounded funny.
No, it's from Groundhog Day.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Cal.
Oh, okay, God.
Gotta keep it loose, baby.
All right, so we're going into
I'm deciding movie lines here, and you're shooting them down, man. You know that gets under my skin, man.
Sorry about that.
Don't make me go Frenchy on you.
No, I won't. The rest being part-time, getting their money from the Vegas bookies. Well, some of them are. Some of them are. Not this one, but that's okay. Like I said, they don't even know what's wrong with the officiating. They think it's great. They have a grading scale from 1974. And Goodell essentially said New York didn't get involved in the AFC Championship game, and instead of saying we should have and we screwed it up, he goes, "No, that's how it works." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works." Anyway, whatever.
That's not how it works.
That guy's crazy, and yet someone who says that he stands up for diversity and that's what they are, really? Then why don't you step down? Let's get somebody else in there that's more diverse than you are, Commissioner.
Princess of Darkness.
How can you say that's a goal, and yet you're still sitting there? That doesn't sound right. In the 70s and 80s, if I recall, the officiating wasn't that much of an issue. Well, I think it was, Ed, because you all might remember the blown call against the Houston Oilers in the '79 championship game against the Steelers is one example. But
Renfro caught it.
yeah, he did. Here's the issue. Ed's right to a point, because at the time the training was consistent with the quality of people. Now it's not. So that's a problem. Okay, technology hasn't kept up. But the bigger issue was there was not the scrutiny that there is today
Right.
outside of the officiating department. No one had any idea whether it was good or bad. Video was grainy at best. In some cases, you could tell from television that there were some issues, and that's what got the whole replay um, discussion started. And I was involved in that discussion back in 1988, because I remember my conversations with Tex Schramm about this issue and him butting heads with Art McNally saying it wasn't going to happen. That's a whole nother show. But
Wow.
but Ed's got a good point. I think the quality of the officials was better. The training was better. Were there still issues? Yes. They just weren't magnified like they are today, because there just wasn't a way to really do that effectively. And quite frankly, no one really paid that much attention to it.
You
That
got
said,
you
you
got
end up with,
quality HD, and you got the technology, and you got
right.
an internet to blast it to everybody.
Exactly. And
Yep.
on top of that, Cap, that doesn't take away, the immaculate reception, Rob Lytle's fumble, Mel Renfro, um, the Houston
Mike
Oilers
Renfro.
Renfro, yeah, catch. So and that's just a few, but or actually Stabler's fumble, the Holy Roller, which today would be blown dead as an incomplete
It's,
forward
and,
pass.
yep.
Mhm.
So there's all those things that took place that are now folklore that we just look back and go, wow, and don't really attribute it to the inequities of officiating, but they existed then. We just didn't analyze it like we do now. Gabe says, did you guys really think the deal was going to get up there and see that his old, huh? Wait,
Gabe, we're not sure what you lost us at
Yeah.
the end.
I,
Yeah.
I, I might like where you're going with there, but maybe give me a better clue. Refs need to be full time and head ref in the booth. Yes. Keep New York out of the game.
I think
Well,
that's
here's
part.
the here's the problem with that, Matt. We're not going to be able to keep New York out of the game anymore. They've opened that Pandora's box. I'm not saying they couldn't go back to the old way, but the technology now is caught up to the point where everybody's got their eyes and hands in this thing, and I just don't think they can put that genie back in the bottle.
Back in the bar.
I'm
Nope.
not sure. I don't disagree with you that they shouldn't, but I just don't think they can do that now. I do think that the role that New York plays in this needs to be different. I will agree with you on that. Is everyone okay with taking Rodgers at his age? No, 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 no. I'm not really,
No.
but I think if they want to sell tickets, they'll do it. I don't think they do
Well,
it because they're that serious that he could deliver a championship. He could, maybe. It depends on what they do with the rest of the offense and a lot of the defense. But look, Rodgers coming to the Raiders is essentially a swap for where he's at with the Packers now. Their offense and our offense are essentially equal. Ours maybe a little better. But the defense is, you could argue the Packer defense is even a little better. So I don't think it's an upgrade for Rodgers. It's an upgrade for the Raiders. Whether that translates to Super Bowl, I don't know. What does it sell tickets? Probably.
I got it from on good inside information. A couple things that the Raiders were. Here's the surprise: the Raiders were counting on Tom Brady to be that bridge quarterback, and it didn't
Wouldn't
happen.
doubt it.
wow.
It really surprised people that he picked retirement over the Raiders. That really surprised people. There's also talk that they are, despite whether we get Rodgers or not, the talk is that the Raiders are not, and I'm so glad to hear this, the Raiders are not going to jump up in the draft to get a quarterback. Thank you.
Smart.
They have their eyes on the kid from Stanford, second round, or jumping back in the first round to make sure that he's there and he will be got. That's what I hear, is the Stanford quarterback is the toast of the town and what McDaniels wants. He's got prototype size. He's got an arm. he can run a little bit, and the fact that he goes to Stanford means he's not some schmuck that doesn't know
Smart.
how to. He's not going to be a Demarcus double.
Yeah, a couple of comments there. Gabe says, "Did you really think Goodell was going to throw his refs under the bus?" No, I
No,
didn't. He's not going to.
no,
He's not going to
not
do
at
that.
all.
He's paid not to do that. Anna says Davis is in trouble with the WNBA
Yeah, I
now.
hadn't heard that one, but wow, I wonder what
Um,
that's about.
I don't know. I'd like to know more about that. Matt says, I don't want to blow past that because it's good news. Rodgers fell behind without Devontae. True about that. But then Ed follows up with a good comment. Says, I don't think Adams' situation is enough for Rodgers to join the Raiders. It'll be about money, probably.
Yeah,
Although,
yeah,
although if it's going to happen, that would certainly ice it, if you will, getting back with Devontae. But I think Rodgers is going
Coach
to.
J.
I just think he's going to look at this whole situation and decide that unless he can go to San Francisco, and I think that's why Brady isn't there because San Francisco has said no. We've already committed to whatever we've got. I don't know if he's going to. I don't know if he's going to come back. I think he's looking at. He wants to win another championship, and I don't know who's out there that's ready. Maybe except Dallas. Where he could go win a championship right away or in the next 2 years. I think that's what he's got
Wow.
left. And where can he go in 2 years win a championship? I don't know where that's going to be, quite frankly.
Anna
So,
says something about some of the players were paid extra under the table. That will
well,
get you in hot water.
wow. Okay.
Mm. Oh,
Stanford's
Matt,
got 6'6",
6'6", 230.
Wow, that's Ben Roethlisberger's size. Actually, a little
Wow.
taller.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not even 6'6".
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
He can throw. He can throw more than adequately. He's got the prototype size. He can move around, and he's from Stanford, so the kid is not stupid.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
quick.
sure of that. So I wonder, and I agree with you on that front, and we're bouncing a little bit here, and that's okay. But Anna's comment about the Davis and the you wonder if that spills
Wow.
over into football business or not. They keep that separate or no?
One to watch. One to
Anna says
watch.
check Fox News in Las Vegas. I
Las
think I'll
Vegas.
do that when
Yeah.
we're done here tonight, just to see what's going on. But thanks for the heads up on that.
Thank you, Anna.
Your new nickname is TMZ, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Mark Davis got caught like Porky's. Well, that's not going to end well.
I know that tallywhacker. Ah!
Oh, just don't get hit in the face with it.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that'll be really interesting to see how that goes.
definitely.
All right. Anything else you want to cover with the Super Bowl before we wrap up the show? Good comments out there, though.
No,
Jay says
I got to go back to the food, man. What are y'all having? And by the way,
Yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah.
I'd like to say I'm very blessed and happy to announce that Mr. and Mrs. Hollywood will be gracing the captain's galleon this
Right
weekend,
on.
coming down because we normally do the frickin' frack, and it's when I get a chance to see Wayne a lot as well, but Hollywood and I are almost like a package deal, and I've been going through withdrawal on the weekends, not hanging out with them, but I'm very happy to say that Hollywood and his wife will be coming down, but which gets me back to the food. Is like I said in my show the other night, you got pizza and wings and a nice cheese chili dip, and I'm going to make my deviled eggs, which is an extra added bonus. There will be lumpia and pancit, and you can't beat that with a stick. So if anybody
you're
is
right,
in the
'cause I don't even
Tampa
know what the hell that
area,
is.
if anybody's in the Tampa area, I'm sure that there might be enough. There might not be enough pizza. There might not be enough wings, but I know you're coming. We're going to be in this room. You guys can't see the 70-inch in front of me. And the Raider, I don't know if you guys have seen the Raider Museum here, but this is where we will be on Sunday for the game, and I'm very happy to have my brethren there. I'd love to have all of you guys there. I said I wish Wayne and Ref and a bunch of people would be there. I said I'm even making my deviled eggs, and dude, that's what I'm known for is my deviled eggs. Pennsylvania Dutch, and they are awesome.
Nice.
Right on,
and,
brother.
and it's going with egg rolls, tri-tip potato salad. So Ryan says to the Stanford guy, he was 6 of 16 as a starter, and in the Pac-10, that's not very good. It's very underwhelming. Would be for the
Played for
Pac-12 too.
Stanford.
Yeah,
Huh?
that program, kind of went down a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
But well, it is what it is. We got to go with somebody. Sean Payton's now in Denver,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson's their bridge quarterback, and we're gonna have to see how it goes. I don't know. Doesn't look good for us unless we can get some defense.
What was Josh Allen's record when he played for was Wyoming, right?
Was it?
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
remember.
I think it was Wyoming. I know it was
Wyoming or North Dakota State, something like
that. No, he's not a North Dakota
that. Was
State.
Wentz. Wentz.
I think he was a Wyoming guy.
Yeah.
But he has the prototype size and the speed, and he went high in the draft because of his, athleticism, and of course he blew up at the combine in his pro day, and the rest is history. Buffalo has the quarterback that they've had for years, and they've been very happy with him. I think he's Wyoming. I'll look it up while you guys are waiting.
He did go to Wyoming, yeah.
Captain with another one from the top belt, baby.
Right on, man.
But he didn't have a team at Wyoming. It's what you can do and what you project. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, they moved up to number 10 to get Mahomes because of what he did at Texas Tech. And Texas Tech wasn't all that in a biscuit, but I think he did pretty well with him.
So my paid assistant, also known as Mrs. Google, says that in 27 games at Wyoming, Josh Allen was 16-11.
Wow.
Barely over 500.
Yeah. You could say
but
that.
Like you say, Cap, put with the right other pieces, that's when they shine.
Matt's going with pizza and beer, maybe a veggie tray. The veggie tray would just be for decoration, Matt. You can throw some carrot sticks on there, but yeah.
That's why I make the deviled eggs. It's going to be, it's not a vegetable, but it's, not totally lard and stuff that's going to have a heart attack where I got to do the.
Yeah. Well, I'm just surprised you can get eggs over there. That's cool.
Oh, they ain't cheap now. They're not cheap.
Gabe says
about $7 a dozen or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Average. That's out here. Average $7.
Yeah. Gabe says the Stanford guy is going to take a bit to adjust the NFL. Yep. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
If he's smart and they don't make him have to, become a MVP to win the games, I know. We'll see what they see in him.
And that's why you got to have defense and an offensive line.
That's right.
Because I don't know. There was some guy by the name of who's the two crappy quarterbacks that the Ravens had.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down.
No, that won the Super Bowl.
Oh, Dilfer.
Oh, that's right. Trent Dilfer
and Flacco.
And Flacco,
yeah.
Right? Because they had a defense. When the Giants won the Super Bowl, Gabe, they won it because of their defense. Bill Sims and Jeff Hostetler were decent, but they didn't bring
that's
the
right.
team.
No, you're absolutely right.
Balance.
You're right.
Balance.
Yep. Well, and that's why I like the Eagles on Sunday for kind of those same reasons.
I like that Raiders 00. He says Jalen Carter. That's who I've been watching too. That's a beast, man. Put him in the middle. He's a D-line.
Oh,
I think he's a 3 technique, but he can do it all. That kid's a beast, man.
$6.99 at Costco for 18-pack. Wow,
that's not bad for 18.
No, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal.
And then they'll put a limit on it, like at Costco. They'll put a limit on it. Yeah,
probably
2.
I'd like us to come out of the draft with that tight end kid from Notre Dame.
He's going to be a good one too. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just don't get the kid that's the tackle with the frigging with the T-Rex arms. We already did that once with Robert Gallery.
Yeah, we tried that with Gallery.
If you're gonna draft a tackle, make sure the kid's got a wingspan.
Yeah.
Right, like mine.
There you go. Yes, it. Yeah.
I'm gonna swat down some balls, man.
Oh man.
Yep. Right. Plunkett and Eli both won 2 Super Bowls with
Yeah,
great
with great
defenses.
defenses.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And actually, that Super Bowl 15 defense was underrated, right? I mean, you got Burgess Owens out there.
Yeah.
You got Matusak, who's, pretty
Oh,
old at
yeah.
that
The
point.
honorable Burgess Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
no, that's correct. No, that's correct. And I didn't mean it that it was bad. I'm just saying that compared to some of the other safeties or defensive backs that we
Yeah.
were used to, we got it from the Jets, right? So
Yep.
Yep.
just wasn't somebody you thought would just show up and win you a Super Bowl. But you know what? But it didn't hurt to have Lester Hayes on that team either. I mean,
But
it
they
just
play
that
team ball too, Ref. They
that's the
team
point.
ball.
But
Yeah.
right, V. But when you got Lester Hayes over there, which is basically a giant spider web, you're not even going to throw over there. So now your defensive backs are going, okay, everything from the hash mark that way,
That way. That's right.
it's all good. Eli's a Hall of Famer. I don't care if anyone says.
Yes,
I
he
don't
is.
disagree with that,
Yes, he
and I
is.
think he'll get in. But it's hard for me to swallow. You'd put him in when Plunkett's not in. Um, Jay says she was in love with Burgess Owens. Don't blame you. I mean, yeah, I get it. Sure.
Anna
Pretty
says,
cool.
did the Raiders fire the scouts? I like that one, Anna. I know where you're going with that. Did
Did
they
they
fire
what?
the scouts? Did the Raiders fire the scouts?
Oh,
Good
I don't
question,
know.
Anna. Good question.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You
I
mean
know that they had a turnover when Gruden left.
Right, right.
probably? Well,
Yeah. Because scouting is a big thing, man. I just and some of them are hit and miss, but some of them know how to just pick
some
that
of them.
talent.
Yep.
Get football
Football.
players, not position players.
Football players. Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep. Don't have a scheme and force the players into scheme. Get the players and then create your scheme.
Create your scheme. There you go.
I played for basketball coaches back in Indiana. They didn't care what talent showed up. They were going to mold that talent into a
To
team.
what they need.
They didn't have a system. They had some philosophies that they wanted you to follow, but they didn't have a system that they wanted to try to force you into to do this or that. They took the talent and said, okay, this is how we're going to play.
How many touches you gonna have before you shoot? 4.
4? Wow. Okay. No, I
He said, I just pull a shade.
I give up.
Oh my God.
If you can't interject quality movies into this show, I don't know what the hell I'm here for.
Well,
Oh, my
yeah. I get it. I get it. Groundhog. And all those, yeah. Yeah. What was Ace Ventura or Pet Detective or whatever that was? All right. We're sideways. What? You don't think that's a good movie?
No, but that's not from that. It's like Ace Ventura is like, don't go in there. Woo!
Well, that's kind of what Derek Carr's thinking about right now. Anyway, down in Nolans, eating some crawfish. Okay, we got to get out of here. Thanks everybody for joining us this season. Wow, we'll turn the corner. We're going to be on hiatus for a little bit. We're going to turn the corner and get back into it. Certainly by fall. The 2 shows that we have planned at this point, although we don't have dates for them, will be a draft special. We usually do a draft special show. We'll see if we can get some guests on that show, and we always do a schedule release show, which is always pretty fun because after the schedule comes out, we like to talk about who's going where and when they're going. It's a precursor. If you follow this show and understand the stats we keep, that's a good one to have. In any case, thanks again. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter. If you have a Twitter account at NFLNationLive, that's our Twitter handle because we'll tweet out when our shows are going to be. In any case, if you're following us on Twitter, of course, or on YouTube, you can get notified there as well. Ed, great. Season Ref, thanks for your ref. Okay, right back at you. We want to thank everybody who's joined us this year. In fact, when we roll the credits tonight, if you've been with us up through last week's show, and I apologize if you were new to tonight's show, but if you've been with us throughout the season through last week's show. You're in the credits tonight. So stay tuned for that. It was a special thank you to all of our guests. We're doing something nobody else has done. Last week we had our fan appreciation show, but this week we're going to say thank you by putting everybody who's been in the chat from our preseason show up through last week's show into the credits to say thank you. So be ready for that. But we wanted to say thank you, and we felt that if we did it and we meant it, then we should back it up. So we backed it up by putting all your names into the credits tonight, so that you have a permanent record that you did indeed support this show. So thank you for that. Wayne, on behalf of NFL Nation Live, thanks for being with us again this year. Cap, on behalf of NFL Nation Live,
Always
thank
a
you
pleasure,
for spending
man.
your Wednesdays with us. We really appreciate it. We hope there's value in this show. But we appreciate the fact that everybody's here every night. Let's make one more trip around the table. I'm in on Eagles. Cap?
Eagles.
V?
Eagles.
All right. I guess that'll do it. Thanks, everybody. It's been a crazy 23 weeks. We'll look forward to next time. In the meantime, y'all are in the credits.
1 second, because I know what you're waiting for, but because it's the Super Bowl show, I'm going to say this. Hallelujah. Oh, everybody can go like this. That was good. What's the word? Then you're going to get some. What are you going to do? You do the bird.
There you go, brother.
That was worth every second.
Out the park, baby. Out the park.
Ed, when you get your mug, tweet me out. Let me know how you like it. Take care, everybody. Woo. Bye.
I'll see you next season as well. You can't forget John Polishak.
Thanks for being with us.
Nice weekend, boy.
Copy that.